Master Yoda once said, "Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering." You know, this is essentially very, very true. What's happening right now across the country with violence from police officers and from protesters attacking police, we've got a very vicious cycle going right now. We're in desperate need of peacemakers. I don't expect that this video is going to do much good, but Jewish teaching states that it is our job to shine our light. It is not our job to force others to shine theirs. Or we're given a job to do, another way to say it is, we're given a job to do, and our job is to do the job, not to complete the job. So don't worry if my attempt is not successful at peacemaking. In other words, basically, if my attempt at peacemaking is not successful, I'm still attempting it, and this is my goal. Right now, we've got a serious issue in this country. It is a vicious cycle that is just going around and around and around, and it's getting worse. It's snowballing, it's speeding up. In all fairness, the cops are not perfect. And I know a lot of people who are standing by the police officers no matter what. And yes, the police officers are doing great amounts of wrong in many cases. A lot of times it's not out of viciousness, it's just out of common fear. Because what Master Yoda said, what I quoted in the beginning, fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering, is true. It is 100% true. And the same way with the civilians attacking police officers in many cases. The fact of the matter is, for many years, African Americans, and it's still going on, have been profiled. They have been profiled. They have been stopped a lot more. Now, this is going on, okay? The fact of the matter is, they are being profiled, and it is leading to them being afraid. Well, the fear has gotten so much it's turned into anger. The anger is spewing over, and it's turning into hatred. And the hatred is turning into suffering, which equals violence, death, destruction. Okay? These things are happening. People are going, "Oh, well, I don't hate nobody. It's not racism." Bull! It is racism. It is hatred on both sides. Both sides are so full of hate and rage right now, it is unbearable. People are suffering out there. People are dying. Okay? Just because you're afraid of somebody or somebody does you wrong doesn't mean you have a right to go out and kill other people or hurt other people. Right now, both sides need to set aside their differences, lay down their arms, and have a legitimate dialogue in peace. Both sides. Does that mean we need to have cops pulled off the street? No. What I'm saying is, instead of these violent demonstrations, people turning America into a civil war zone, Civil War Part 2, which is fastly coming if we do not stop this insanity and start trying to be peacemakers. War is not good. Violence is not good. We should show each other love and compassion. It shouldn't matter what color your skin is, or what job you take, or that you're a cop, or you're a doctor, or you're just somebody who's barely scraping by because you're too poor or stupid to do much of anything else. It goes across all spectrums. There are black police officers, white police officers, Chinese police officers. There are rich people, there are poor people on all sides of this. Our country is falling into ruin because fear led to anger, and anger has led to hatred, and now this hatred is turning into violence and suffering. I urge all sides in this conflict what has happened to these many victims of police brutality. And yes, they are victims, and many of these police officers do deserve to be thrown in jail for the crimes they have committed out of fear and anger and hatred or whatever they're suffering from. But there's many of these protesters that now deserve to be in jail for crimes they've committed against civilians, against so-called white people, against so-called black people, against cops, against doctors, against whoever. I'm asking you all, let's start an honest, peaceful, loving dialogue to work past our differences so we can end the profiling, we can end police brutality, we can end violence against other civilians just because they're in the wrong place, or they have the wrong color, or they're the wrong religion, or whatever. It don't matter. We should strive for peace, and I'm urging all of us to stop the random acts of violence and to stop uncivil behavior, and let's start having a dialogue and start working on breaking down these boundaries and coming together as one to unite, to make peace with one another, to live harmoniously with each other. Otherwise, we will fall. We will fall and be destroyed because of our own violence. We will be destroyed from within, not without. Please, I beg you, let us be peacemakers. Let us say that it's time to stop thinking of whether you are a Jew or a Gentile, a goy, whatever you want to say. I'm Jewish, so I understand. I understand what it's like to be afraid of another group of people, aka Christians, and because they have persecuted me. They have persecuted my people. I understand what it's like to be afraid of them. And I was letting my own fear of them, my own anger towards them evolve into something else. And I decided that I wasn't going to let hate destroy me too. I wasn't going to let hate fill my heart and consume me and me become worse than them. I'm better than them, and that's why I'm not going to let that consume me. I ask you as a human being, let us, as one human race, set aside our differences and work for peace. Who cares if you're black, white, or whatever? Let us remember the words of Martin Luther King Jr., who said, "A man should not be judged by the color of his skin, but by the content of his character." Let our characters define us. Let us move past this hatred. Let us refuse to let the hatred consume us. And let us move to a greater understanding and peace and love for our fellow man, no matter what our differences is. I beg you, let's be peacemakers. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. And again, I extend my hand of friendship and peace to all of you, no matter what your color, religion, or job occupation is. We must take an unbiased look at everything. And there are wrongs being done on both sides, and we have to be peacemakers. I'm beseeching you one last time. Let us be the peacemaker. Thank you so much. And shalom.